after the,
After you get through with the whole thing,
everybody.
we'll have.
Okay, right, exactly.
Kelly loves having you. Like, afterwards.
I know. Today.
I'm gonna take them off.
Well,
Take it.
I can only do that for surgery.
They're all coming.
I know, but then you'll bring it up.
They want-
You know what I don't like about international? And then smile, they can't see your face. They're gonna do all of that. I just enunciate the best I can.
Well, you have the background.
Not now. Everybody, the ones who are not here, and them to get up and. No, ASB. Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right. Right here. Yeah.
Right after New York.
Dr. Byers, are you here?
They're just getting stuff in.
I'm here. For the vote.
Director Moeller,
Here.
Vice President Patroff. Here. And President Cuneo.
Here. All right. There are no public comments on our tax rate. Motion to approve. All right. Would someone like to make a motion to adjourn? So moved. Second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. All right, let's start the business meeting. Another call card. Sure, sorry.
Director Esner.
Here.
Director Byers. Here. Director Faulkner.
Here.
Director Hudson. Director Moeller.
Here.
Vice President Patroff. Here. And President Cuneo.
Here. Can we all stay until the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
All right. First up, we have our Missouri Retired Teachers Association thing.
I'm welcoming tonight three representatives from the Missouri Retired Teachers Foundation to show us
Okay. Good evening, all. My name is Bonnie Kramer, and I'm a member of the SSD and Suburban Retired Educators Association, which is a unit of Missouri Retired Teachers Association and school personnel. This is Mary Fenley, our unit president, and Sandy Berry is our Region 8 retirement chair, as well as our newsletter editor and past president. As many of you know, MRT awards several $500 classroom grants all across the state each and every year. We are here tonight to recognize some of the winners of such grants. We are also here to recognize winners of another type of grant called the Patti Dean Memorial Grant. This fund was set up years ago by Mr. Larry Dean in memory of his wife, who died of cancer, and she was a lobbyist and advocate for special education. Our unit, SSD and Suburban REA, now oversees this fund, and it is specifically for special education teachers, and awards grants each year also. Larry could not be with us this evening, although he has been several times in the past, but wanted me to extend his congratulations to our Patti Dean Memorial Grant winners, which would be Stephanie Fox and Chris J. Fox. They will be the Patti Dean winners, and Emily will be the MRTF winner. There were a total of 7 SSD grant recipients. Unfortunately, several were unable to attend. I would like to just tell you who the other winners were. Those not in attendance were Tracy Broker from Fairview Elementary, Early Childhood in Jennings, Kelsey Stephan from North Tech High School in Florissant. She has a combination of MRTF and Patti Dean grants. April Rainwater from Holman Middle School in St. Anne, and Alana Gosford Towers from Valley Park High School in Valley Park. Those were not able to attend. And now, without further ado, I will allow our winners, who are present, to introduce themselves and give a brief summary as to how their grant is being utilized in the classroom. First up will be Ms. Emily Beaker. She's won an MRTF grant.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for having me tonight. I received a grant to help fund a Check Your Blind Spot library focusing on having representation of all kids in literacy, including picture books and chapter books, and then also books that talk about some of those tougher conversations revolving around race, gender identity, financial literacy, and those funds are being used to fund that library for our whole school and spread love of reading.
Thank you. And next is Stephanie Fox. She's one of our Patti Dean winners.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Fox, and I teach at Heights Middle School in the Pattonville School District. So I applied for this grant. The population of students I serve are on the autism spectrum, and the majority of my grant will be going to sensory items in their social skills sensory area within my classroom.
Congratulations.
And last is Chris J. Fox, and he also has one of the Patti Dean grants.
Hi, my name is Chris J. Fox. I work at Ackerman School, and so my grant was to get the Good Egg, the Bad Seed, the Good Egg, and the Cool Bean, all of the series of those books, as well as a plush to kind of go with it. It goes between the Good Egg and the Bad Seed, and it's for my kids. I'm in an autism classroom, 3 through 5, and we have to use other modalities like puppets and things to make connections, and so I think that book series is really going to help with social emotional connections for my students. So hopefully the series, we can get through the rest of this year with using that. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to invite you guys to come up for a photo.
While she's doing that, at our recent state meeting, our unit that provided these Patti Dean grants were one of the Unit of Excellence for 2020. So anyway, just give us a little plug.
If I can have everybody seated, stand in the back, and then we'll have everybody else.
What do you want us?
Just come up a little bit.
Center. You guys are the most important.
Let's have our winners in the center,
Yes, let's just, there.
and then have you come down here.
And
This is good.
There you go.
I'm gonna have you go,
Because you're taller.
everybody, whatever.
Okay, and then I have you scoot,
Scoot in,
yep, scoot in.
scoot in.
And smile, haha.
I don't want to block you. No, you're not gonna block me.
We really are smiling.
And take another one, and then we take one for social media. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We did bring pens and notepads to share with the board, or does that not be appropriate? Is it okay?
Thank you for all you do. Thank you for all you do.
How many I've got?
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're the media person.
All righty. Next, would someone like to make a motion to approve our agenda? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next are school updates.
It's the same as last time, so.
Yes, it is, all right. Good evening,
I've
Dr.
seen this one
You
before.
sure have.
Pop your head.
So good evening, Dr. Cuneo, Dr. Keenan, Board of Directors. Purpose of this update is to provide the Board of Education and the community with the status of our plan. This is to remain in compliance with state and federal requirements, specifically Missouri House Bill 271, to provide the board with an update at least every 30 days as far as our status going with coronavirus mitigation and compliance measures, especially for doing a masking requirement. Next slide. So our safe return to in-person instruction and continuity services plan, going to go to the next slide. It is the same as what we presented earlier this month. So you're going to get this update every 30 days or less than to remain in compliance with Missouri House Bill 271. With the main tenets of our plan, again, masking, social distancing, health screening, promoting vaccination, contact tracing, cleaning protocols, periodic revision and review. So at least every 6 months, we'll update the plan. And the plan is available for the public to view on the SSD website under the COVID information section. Next slide. Questions?
Anything changed from last time?
Not a thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Continue to move on.
Anyone else have any questions?
Yeah, Dr. Ryan?
I think I'll ask this every time, but how are our kids doing? How are our teachers doing?
I'll take that. Kids are struggling at times. It's hard to be back in school when you haven't been. So we're working on school behavior and really trying to get back in. It's also difficult when you're working with shortages, both from vacancies and from quarantines, and that's just a run-of-the-mill average absences that you have in any given year. So staff are working really, really hard to make sure everyone is safe and to make sure we're giving a quality of education. But I would be remiss if I didn't say they at times are struggling.
Is there anything we can do to help them?
Continue to focus on recruitment and supporting staff and being thoughtful in your decision-making and supporting.
The largest areas of concern right now are paraprofessionals, and that's where they're starting to go, not only on top of the quarantines and teachers have to go out, it's the vacancies for the paraprofessionals. That's the biggest thing right now that's impacting the day-to-day work, and that's where we're feeling it. But like, Dr. Grigsby said, the staff are doing a phenomenal job with very difficult circumstances, and our principals and our coordinators and directors are doing a great job too. But it's tough. It's tough in terms of, people are glad to be back in. However, it's difficult when you're going through all these changes. And then when we're talking about the vaccine mandates in certain districts, it's also impacting people's psyches and how they're addressing coming to work every day. So we're still in a pandemic, and we're still trying to work through it. We've been meeting with HR to take care of, to really work out building out more, cohesive plan in terms of supporting paraprofessionals and starting to hire more. And we'll talk a little bit about that, in the next couple months too.
I've been notified by some of our partner districts that they're having difficulties with transportation. How are we doing?
Similar experience. So we have 3 different garages that serve our schools. We, in general, same issues that you see in a normal year where you have absences and those types of things, we're trying to make up routes. Just the difference is there aren't really any backups this school year. Like especially in the north region, our north garage, they have, all hands on deck driving buses. They've got mechanics who are driving buses, they have routers who are driving buses, just because you need the routes to be run. In some cases, they're gonna have to double up routes. It's really the beginning of the day and the end of the day. The middle of the day is pretty good right now, but those bookends of the day, it's challenging, especially if you have a number of absences or quarantines or those types of things, because we really have just enough staff to do the work that needs to be done.
Are some of the delays that some of our partner districts having in reference to the scheduling and their kids getting maybe to school later than what normally they would, are those timeframes affecting our kids coming?
At this point, it's not impacted us at the technical high schools. Luckily, because our afternoon students don't need to be to us until closer till 11:30, 11:45, that those students are getting to school on time by that time. It's the same thing at the end of the day. So we have enough of a buffer that even though they have buses running late, we are seeing some impact in attendance, where if the student doesn't come to their home high school, then they're not coming to us either, especially if they're an afternoon student. So that is something that we are seeing in some of those areas where they see especially long delays, where if the student doesn't make it to Hazelwood West, well, then they're not gonna make it to North Bethany.
Thank you very much. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the essential items?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Action items. The following items were approved during the executive meeting: employment, resignations, retirement, salary adjustments, extra duty pay. These were the ones that were done on July 20, 2020. Non-paid, there were employment, resignations, retirement, salary adjustments, extra duty pay, non-paid leaves of absence, and 1 settlement agreement. Someone would like to make a motion for the closed meeting of the Board of Education on September 28th and October 12th at 7 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Your roll call on this.
Director Adkin?
Yes.
Director Byers? Yes. Director Faulkner?
Yes.
Director Mueller?
Yes.
Vice President Petrov? Yes. And President Cunningham?
Someone would like to make a motion for the approval of our last board meeting minutes.
Second.
All in favor?